Hello, everybody. My name is Katalina Garcia, and this is my presentation on building relationships, specifically between an instructor and their students. So, building a trusting relationship. As seen, the importance of building a trusting relationship between an instructor and student in higher education specifically, we can see through Kaufman 2022, this positive relationship between student and instructor increases motivation, improves student behavior, and builds new pathways for learning. It also creates a safe space for learning. The best practices for building relationships and rapport. From B. Miller 2018, specifically talking solely online, there are a couple things we want to do to create this relationship and rapport between this instructor and students. First, we can see that the technology available when online should be used, as we are only given so many specific tools. From online, you can create polls, check boxes, and whiteboards to increase the community and communication between a student and their instructor, and also between students, the peers. Next, a 15-minute welcome call, if you're solely online, can mimic the camaraderie that happens between a student and their instructor in the first minutes of class. If you're in person, you can mimic this through a 15-minute welcome call that students can join and communicate with the instructor. Next, you can create a community through posts and live sessions with varied start times. Now, these start times are important, as giving students options for when they can join such live sessions will increase the amount of students who do join, because if you're solely online, there's a good chance that the students are working a full-time job, and just giving those options will increase involvement, participation. Next, from March in 2019, this is specifically online. It can be implied in both situations, traditional learning and online learning. You can create personal videos, the instructor, and if the instructor shares their personal side as well as personalized feedback, we'll create those positive relationships that we're looking for. Next, to find out the needs and interests of the adult learners, the instructor needs to do a couple of things. From Kaufman 2022, we can see that by building a positive relationship with the learners, they are more susceptible to learning and hearing from the students as they are willing to share. By creating a safe space to participate in questions and discussions pertaining to the student needs and interests, creating that space for the students to actually speak will increase the participation and allow for the instructor to learn the needs and interests. So kind of creating discussion questions and posts specific to this topic. Next, a positive relationship with the instructor will also increase the student's willingness to interact. As I stated earlier, you can open a space, but if the student doesn't feel safe and doesn't have that safe space, they might not give you the information that you specifically ask for. So having a positive relationship will increase the student's willingness. Next, from Supiano 2018, we stated this already before, but by carving out space and time for students and faculty to interact, the faculty is more than likely to learn the needs and interests of their student learners, as they can specifically ask those questions. Student viewpoints. From Singal and Galati 2020, we can see that when you have student viewpoints that differ from your own viewpoints, there are a couple steps that could be taken to move on. From Singal and Galati 2020, we see that an instructor's bias first must be acknowledged. We all come from different backgrounds, and we need to acknowledge how that may influence our thoughts. A student's culture must be respected and reinforced to contribute to their self-identity. And lastly, sharing and listening to a student is also an important way to validate their culture, so respecting it. Lastly, as a Christian, we must be respectful and accepting of all different viewpoints, and Singal and Galati sums this up for us. Practical ways can be being aware of personal bias, transforming your learning, valuing and respecting student culture, as well as involving community and family where applicable through honest communication. Getting to know your students is very important. And that was my presentation on building relationships. Diversity, student-teacher interactions are increasingly important to increase motivation and learning from the students. Thank you.